Whoo, it's a bit toasty here in California. It's a bit toasty in my city, but I'm gonna persevere. Don't have a newer house, so I don't have central heating and all that fancy first world stuff. I have a plug-in AC, which I'm not using right now. A plug-in heater, which I'm definitely not using right now. But you get the idea. Anyway, too personal. So should be a lot more excited. I actually am excited because I just watched a movie. No, um, it was season three of Breaking Bad, episode one. Really good. You can and as far as the characters go, the actors themselves, I should say, you can tell that they're actually getting older and growing into these particular characters that they're playing. Um, it's almost like being in a relationship or having a dog for a long time or being in a job. You ultimately become more and more like the thing you're around the most or most often. My opinion, my observation. Okay. Um, it started off with some really deep spiritual stuff, which I still, even after a little bit, like one Google search, I didn't find a name for it, but there's obviously town folk or why did I say town folk? There's people from less than developed area inside Mexico, and they're crawling. But I'm like, I know I've seen that somewhere before. I know I've seen that somewhere. It's some type of ritual. After my single and one and only single Google search, apparently young boys will crawl to a shrine of death. It's in Spanish. I can never say the word death in Spanish. I can't say it. It starts with an M. It's muerte. I tried. Okay, but they're doing that for spiritual reasons or whatever. And these two, and you're introduced to these twins, which makes it even creepier. I mean, they're you know what? I should have wrote some notes on this episode. I should have wrote some notes on this episode. So they're drawing from classic horror films with identical twins, and the twins are doing really bad stuff. These guys are like hired killers basically. There's one scene in there where they at the end of the episode where they wind up killing all of the immigrants that they've traveled across the border with, including their driver, and it's like a scene straight out of an old west movie, like a western, really good spaghetti western type stuff. Perfect. Um, I'm trying to spit it all out so I won't forget it all. There is a scene when Mr. White. I just realized that it wouldn't make any sense if I did that because wouldn't know anything. So anyway, let me try and start from the beginning. So the episode starts off. There was a plane crash. Coincidentally, the person responsible for the plane crash was the father of Jesse's or Pinkman's lover. Of course, he's emotionally distraught. How they describe it in the show, but he's messed up over the loss of his daughter. Uh, I can understand that. Well, not because I've lost anybody, but I can understand how somebody would feel grief at the loss of a loved one, especially a daughter. So you have that. Um, Mrs. White is divorcing Mr. White. Um, she's on to him. She's actually smarter than I thought she was. I'm not saying that I believe the character to be dim-witted, but I thought she was pretty clueless. She played that up pretty well, or maybe that's all they gave the actress to play with. But the role was believable in that aspect, and now it's believable that she's actually pretty smart. And I think, you know what? I think they actually built up her. I think they actually built up the credibility of that character being smart by saying her former career was as an accountant, and I think most people's assumption would be that accountants have to be smart because they're constantly dealing with numbers and such. That's pretty good. That's pretty good work on them. I just now caught that. But anyway, she's pretty much had enough of this. Uh, Mr. White he's trying to, you know, I don't know why I heard this before or where I got this idea from, but I think I want to say you have a pretty high success rate if you tell a lie and somebody catches you in a lie. Uh, it's best just to stick with it, because if you make it believable, there's a strong possibility that the person, even though the person's like, no way, they might actually start. There's a 50-50 chance that person still might run along with it, even though they kind of really know in their gut that it's not the truth. But without solid, hardcore evidence, they have nothing to go on except their gut feeling. But if you just stick with the lie, you may get away with it. You may get away with it. I don't suggest doing that though. But Mr. White is obviously sticking to his guns in this situation, at least for the majority of the episode. The brother-in-law makes an appearance in the episode. The sister-in-law, now I really don't like that character at all. She's pretty much stayed true to her colors throughout the whole series. Junior's stepping up and he's making his presence known. I feel like he's unhappy with the situation, which I coming from a kid. This is coming from a kid and myself who came from a divorce or parents a divorce situation. I know like what he's going through, what is that character's going through. How come you guys can't just work it out? But it's as I've gotten older, I've realized it's always going to be more complex when you throw in emotional history and the fact that they've laid with one another. I mean, he's been inside her and she's allowed him to do that, and they've had two children at this point, and it's just so much stuff piled on top of one another. There's no way that you can strip all that apart. There's no way that you can all just strip all that apart and forget it and say, well, I'm going to try and talk this out. Certain things are going to block that. Certain things are going to block that from happening, which is understandable. Hey, whoa, whoa. She sees a dog outside. She's a big, tough home defender. She sees a dog outside. So where was I at? Yeah, so Mr. White and Mr. White are getting a divorce. Oh yeah, and Pinkman's off on some resort, but he needs this to balance his chakra. I don't know why I said that. He needs this to rebalance himself. The character needs this to rebalance himself. Um, I think this side story actually does quite well of balancing the episode because you have so many things. At least I have so many things that I'm looking at in this episode that just want me to. They're making me want to watch the entire series in a row. Seriously, it does date itself, of course, because of the cars that are driven and some of the outfits are kind of dating it. But other than that, it's almost timeless, almost. Um, Now let's get back to the end of the episode. So these two identical twins that are basically hired killers wind up killing everybody they're riding with, and I don't know where I was going with that. I'm just interested to see where I'm sweating a little bit. I'm just interested to see where these characters are going to go in the series. Um, Trying to think what else I need to look about. What else I need to talk about in this movie? Yeah, Mrs. White is gone. Oh yeah, and they're still dealing with the planes that crashed uh, over the top of their house. So they're dealing with debris and things of that nature, and they're getting a little gory. Oh yes, and also the purchaser of their last batch of methamphetamines. Oh god, that dude's a really good actor. He has information on him at this point, but Mr. White has no idea that he knows about his family situation. Um, his brother-in-law being a DEA agent, of course. Let me wipe this off. Wipe this sweat off. Oh yeah, she's working hard, making videos, and start sweating. But yeah, he's asked. He gave him a proposition. He gave Mr. White a proposition, but Mr. White has refused because his wife is as she's trying to have a conversation with him or trying to get him just to sign the paperwork to make the divorce final. She can't even sit in there because he blabbers and spills all of the juicy details pretty much and tells her everything he's been doing. Oh my god, I can't believe that. She runs out. And he just wants things to go back to normal. But he did survive cancer. He just wants things to go back to normal. But it's in the details. Everything is in the details. I'm telling you. When he's given his proposition by this purchaser, when he's given his proposition and he says no, the guy, his lip quivers. He goes, very well. That's not very well. That means I'm going to cause all type of pain to you if you do not do what I say. Because his product is so good. You know, it's as far as I can tell, the drug game. You're gonna have, like I know what the hell's going on. You're gonna have people who get a certain quality of a certain type of product that is quality, and they're going to cut that product up, or they're going to ask for more money. Now, they don't know how to do what he knows how to do, so you're just gonna have to play ball, buddy. And I can't wait to see what happens in the next episode.